13-year-old permaculture teacher and activist from the beautiful Cowichan Valley. I live on a 5-acre education farm, Many Hens Farm, in the North Cowichan, and I was given the opportunity to speak to you all today about the importance of water to me as a farmer and permaculturist, as well as some tips to help you save water on your land. You may be thinking, what is permaculture? Permaculture is such a broad topic, and everyone has their own way of defining it. My best definition would be, this is a design system that's modeled on nature, a way of designing your property to build resources rather than destroying or depleting them. It is always getting better and better, and is beyond sustainable. It is regenerative. Water is so important in our everyday lives. We all need it to survive. It also plays a huge part in agriculture. Without safe, clean water, we would not be able to water or feed our animals. Without water, our food supply would drastically drop. 50 years ago, we used to grow 85% of our own food on Vancouver Island. Now we only grow 5 to 10% of it. We live in such a unique and beautiful area, but we all also need to be very aware that we live in an area where food security is an issue, and water plays a large part in supplying the food that we do grow here. We need to do everything we can and work together in community to save this precious resource, our water. There are so many small things that each and every one of us can do in our own gardens to make a big change for the better. Was anyone in this room affected by last summer's drought and watering restrictions?
Yes.
If you were, listen closely to some of the tips I'm going to tell you to help conserve water. Number 1, mulch. Mulch is when you cover the soil with several inches of organic materials. Try using natural materials such as straw, leaves, wood chips, compost, and paper products. These organic materials keep the soil temperature cooler and helps hold moisture in the soil, therefore conserving water. As the mulch decomposes, it feeds the soil microbes and earthworms and replenishes soil nutrients. Mulch also deters weed growth and when used over time, revitalizes soil and promotes better plant growth. Number 2, micro-drip irrigation is a very water-efficient form of irrigation. With drip lines, the water is slowly placed right at the roots of the plants where it is needed. And as a result, there are less weeds and fungal diseases. Make sure you water the soil long enough to encourage plant roots to grow deep into the soil where the moisture is available to them. This also stores water deep in the soil, reducing evaporation. Also consider planting deep root plants and trees. They have the ability to store water and not only survive periods of drought, but also provide water to the plants that are grown around them. If you want to, try researching xeriscaping. It is a form of landscaping that reduces or eliminates the need for supplemental water. I don't have quite enough time to talk about that, as it is another topic on its own. Number 3, compost. Any yard waste and materials such as grass clippings, manure, and leaves can be composted. When the compost is broken down, it can be spread on top of the soil. Carbon in the organic matter helps to hold moisture in the soil like a sponge. According to a study, every pound of carbon translates to 4 pounds of water retention. Number 4, harvest water. In a climate like this, where we can get so much water in the winter, fall, and spring, and then hot, dry summers, we have the ability to capture and store this resource while we can, and use it when it is not so readily available, using such things as barrels, rainwater catchments, and hugelkultur. Number 5, companion plant and planting guilds. Plant vegetables and flowers closely together to serve as a living mulch, and also to make some shade and protect the soil. The plants will also help shade each other and keep the garden cooler. Interplanting and companion planting has many additional benefits. Number 6, gray water system. Gray water is previously used water from sinks, bathtubs, and washers, and when done correctly with education and safety in mind, it can be collected for reuse. This is a water retention method that prevents water from being used only once, permitting it to be filtered and recycled in home for reuse. Number 7, plant for resiliency. Create your own plant varieties. By saving and growing seeds from the hardiest plants in your garden, you're creating plant varieties that are well adapted to our climate and the unique growing conditions on our island. One of our favorite plants to grow is the nitrogen-fixing, drought-tolerant superfood sea buckthorn. Number 8, swales. A swale is a small dish runoff contour that holds water and allows it to penetrate the soil. They slow down or even stop water runoff and soil erosion. Adding ponds to your land is also an excellent way to capture and store this amazing energy. Number 9, terraces. These are layers or steps built into a hill, mountain, or sloped plain. This prevents water from just running down the hill, often dragging soil with it, and provides a more effective design for farming on inclined surfaces. Number 10, hugelkultur. Hugelkultur is designed by digging out a large hole, laying down logs and other wooded and natural debris, and then covering it with soil. Then you can plant trees and herbs all over it. As the logs inside the hugelkultur bed decompose, they provide nutrients to the organisms living in the soil, as well as the plants growing on top, and act like a sponge, soaking up water during rainfall and releasing it into the soil as needed in dry periods. Often, hugelkultur beds do not need watering even in dry climates and during droughts. All of these methods are just a few examples of how we can design our garden systems to conserve and reuse water. With using some of these tips I have given you, we can all work together to make the change we want and need to see in our agriculture systems. We all have the privilege of using this water, but with it comes the responsibility of protecting it. Thank you for listening.